Hey y'all, it's your girl Corporate Carolyn, and my corporate workday is almost over. And there is a thought that came to me yesterday. I know normally I'm on here talking about, how to grow your hair longer with aloe, what type of protective styles to wear to help you grow your hair, anti-aging tips, all sorts of things that edify and nourish a woman's soul, to help you feel better about yourself and everything. And I had a different line of thinking yesterday that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it has to do with, of all things, reality television. And as I thought about it, I was like, I don't think reality TV is really a friend to Black women in particular. Maybe other cultures, it may have been helpful in some way. I can't speak to that. But I really think that it has hurt Black women in general, like our reputation, the way people see us, the way people interact with us, the way that they've shaped their opinions about who we are and who they expect us to be, the types of boxes that we're put in. Case in point, one time I was at one of my son's college football games, and there was this white man there. His son was on the team as well, and he was trying to tell me about something. And he was like, girlfriend? And I said, girlfriend? Okay. I said, does that make you boyfriend? As his wife looked on and she was laughing. And I'm just like, how are you so familiar with me? You haven't talk to me at length. You don't hear me running around calling people girlfriend or calling you boyfriend or anything. So why are you speaking to me like this? A lot of times I think people of different ethnic backgrounds, they watch these shows and they form an opinion. And I just wanted to tell you some of the many things that I wrote down that are some of the opinions that they're getting as they watch these shows. And more important than that, a generation of young women that are coming along, that are watching and thinking that this is the way to behave if you want to be successful. Ding, ding, ding. That's what I'm worried about. Not necessarily what, white people think of us, what Indian people think of us, what Asian people think of us. It's mainly what these impressionable young babies are thinking. And a hat that I like to wear is an Auntie Carolyn hat, where I really care about these young women. And I just think it's leading people down a bad path. Now, let me tell you why, and let's see if you agree with me, or, you know that I'm 58, as many times as I said it. Maybe it's just because I'm old and I don't get it. I used to watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta, The Real Housewives of Potomac, I think even The Real Housewives of New Jersey, until Teresa started, what is her name, Jaducci or something. She started throwing, tables over and acting a really complete fool. So I haven't seen that since she went to jail and her husband got deported. Okay, let someone Italian talk about that. But I'm here, like I said, to talk about from a Black aspect, a Black woman aspect. Okay, so after years of watching, I believe that some of us have become caricatures of themselves. And some of the people in the older age groups are looking back at young women that are wearing, big wigs, big eyelashes, really long spiky fingernails, really heavy makeup, getting BBLs, getting breast jobs. And we're wondering, why are they doing that? Where is this trend coming from? Where a woman thinks that, like say the butt that Aaliyah might have had, why that butt is no longer good enough. I mean, you just can't have that butt, or the butt that what's her name, Chili from TLC, you just can't have that butt. You got to have the biggest butt in the world. Or as what's her name, Phaedra Parks was talking about years ago when she was trying to hawk some video lines that she was competing against with Kenya. I think she was talking about a donkey booty. And then she promoted that and glorified it to the point I think it contributed to a good number of the BBLs that a lot of women are getting. And so when I think about caricatures, I think about Nene, just all the work that she's done. She started off looking, like a normal human being, and I I found her comical, and like a lot of her like wisecracking, smart alecky comments, I found it very entertaining. I have to say I did. Watching Phaedra, who is a lawyer, seeing even Karen, the grand dame, at the beginning, they were entertaining. But then, like even Gazelle, I thought, or Giselle, I thought that she was just a gorgeous woman with the light eyes, because my husband has light eyes, and she was almost like one of my sisters-in-law or something. I was like, oh, she's a gorgeous woman. And my husband used to come in and he'd look, and he'd say that a lot of times, as soon as those women started talking, you would see how unattractive they were. And he wouldn't watch it, and he would just leave. I'm like, hey, get out of here, I'm watching my show. But all of a sudden, over the years, I started to see where he was coming from. Like a lot of these women, we don't care what spouses or boyfriends like, and we're blindly following these women and trying to look like them. Like I said, with the BBLs, the boob jobs, because even Portia, with her gorgeous self, she was gorgeous as an A cup, but now, she's had a breast job. She's still gorgeous, but she's just gone so far with the excessive hair, the eyelashes, and just everything is so over the top. Why can't you just be a normal human being? The reason why is because your wouldn't even be on this show, because I don't think Andy Cohen would hire someone who's not a caricature of what an actual black woman might be. I said it and I mean it. And then not only are we trying to look like them, because they've normalized like lace fronts, and then you see girls in high school wearing lace fronts. Back in my day, and even before, black women wore wigs, but they didn't wear wigs in high school. And now you have women or young women wearing wigs in high school, and we think it's okay because of what we're seeing on television. It's not okay. You're too young for all of that. You're damaging your follicles, your scalp, and then you're gonna face traction alopecia in your 30s instead of like maybe in your 50s or your 60s, like typical women used to experience these types of issues. Okay, so, and then I noticed that the bigger the boobs, the bigger the butt, the eyelashes, the wigs, the weaves, the extensions, the better. And I think that many of the women, because of this, they're like saying, this is our model. This is what we're following. You're modeling the behavior, the look, the actions of these women on reality TV. And I don't even think they realize how much of a role model they've become for the culture. And it is not good for us. And then if you look at these women, not only are they over the top in so many different aspects, they're not in healthy relationships a lot of the times. When you think about people like a Portia, as gorgeous as she is, that she would wind up, first she gets pregnant by, I guess, some hot dog guy, and then as if a woman as beautiful as she is could not find a husband on her own merit, she winds up marrying some man who was another lady's man that might have supposedly was her friend on the show, and then all of a sudden their dirty laundry is aired out in the media, and she has a child now that can see this, that has friends that know about this, and these women don't care that their kids know. Like Nene, she has a grown son, and then when her son winds up having issues, they say, oh, I wonder why, he's acting up. These women have children, like Gazelle or Giselle. I keep saying Gazelle, like the animal. Giselle has daughters. And then when you see her with her previous, I don't know if he still is or not, but he was a pastor and he cheated. And then she wound up going back to him. I believe he may have cheated again. And you have daughters watching this. And all of this is being aired out on television. And you just wonder why these women are doing such a thing. And then I think because of Andy Cohen and people like him, dysfunction is glorified, especially with these black women arguing, yelling, fighting, and acting a fool has just been completely normalized. And also not only that, but a lot of perpetration is going on where these women, are pretending like they're rich, like Nene Leakes saying, I'm rich, B word. Most rich people don't run around telling you that they're rich. They just run around doing rich people things, buying rich people stuff. And then you look at them and you say, oh, they must be rich. They don't have to tell you. When I go to Martha's Vineyard, those people aren't telling me how rich they are. They're driving around in a Honda. Toyota. They're driving around, in a Toyota. They're not driving around in Lamborghinis and rented vehicles. These women, it looks like they're getting into debt to try to perpetrate. Like some of the houses that they're renting, I believe like Karen, and if she doesn't need the money, Karen from the Housewives of Potomac, if she doesn't need the money, she's about my age, and if she does not need that money, I just don't know why she's on there acting a complete and utter fool. She has kids too that are watching her. She has kids that are friends, and then they're talking about, oh, well, they have to live in McLean, it's not Potomac, and just talking about such childish, immature foolishness. Maybe that's the criteria to get you on the show. I really don't know. But what you have is an audience of young women who don't know better yet, thinking that the way to have the good life is to get into debt, so that you can buy an $1,800 purse or a $500 pair of shoes, not realizing that you can look just as good by going to TJ Maxx and save your money, keep your credit score high, and buy a house. Not rent a house, like a number of those women, and then they make fun of them as though they're doing any better. A lot of these women, they wind up in debt, they wind up, in bankruptcy, with tax issues, because they're on the show trying to perpetrate, because you don't want to be on the show and be a regular human being. And so it's just very, very damning to me that people are leading young women down this wrong path. And then, like, if you look at some of the houses that people have said that they live in, there are no pictures up. A lot of the decorations look like it's staged, and a number of the women are renting. Because I remember they were clowning Kenya one time because she was living like in an apartment or type stuff, and it looked like a normal person's place. I don't know if Kenya could afford that, but the pressure was for her to move into something lavish. And they're always driving around in Rolls Royces, and you don't know what they're doing to earn it. And then that Andy Cohen person, the way Michael Jackson said that, who's that guy, Tommy Mottola? He said he's very devilish. I think that Andy Cohen is kind of devilish because these women are pretending to be rich, and he reminds me of Satan because he pays them just enough to air your dirty laundry, like for an ordinary woman to air her dirty laundry, and then not only that, but to make up something like some sort of storyline just so you can be on the show. And then he gets you to act a complete fool, and if you aren't willing to do it on your own, they make sure that you're all boozed up. You notice that the wine, the drinks are free flowing all the time for any of the trips because he wants you to act a fool. So that's what you're on the show doing. It doesn't matter what your children think. It doesn't matter what your society of people that are watching you think. All he cares about is a storyline. And I don't know if some of you remember how reality television came about. It was because I think there was a writer's strike a number of years ago. And so they were looking for material where like you had people who couldn't, violate whatever strike they had going on. So you just got ordinary people to come on television. And the more outlandish your story, the more likely you were to make money. I think Nene Leakes was one of the highest paid people doing it at one time. And then Candy Burris, who was the actual only rich person that was on that Housewives of Atlanta show. And so I hate that. That you have these women on there, they're trying to get clout, trying to get status, like a Kenya Moore, who was Miss USA, a gorgeous woman. And then I haven't even tried her hair care line because I think that the lure like that Andy holds up, well, you'll be able to, get your products, in front of people. I don't want to buy her hair product because her hair was beautiful back when she was Miss USA. These hair products that she's peddling, that's not how Kenya Moore got beautiful hair. It's just a way for her to make money, and I'm not buying it, but a lot of young women might. So that's another thing that bothers me. And then I think it's just leading young women that are 17, 18, 19, 20 down a bad path, giving you the wrong impression of what marriage looks like, gives you the wrong impression of what you should be looking for, how you should act in a relationship. Bring that behavior into a relationship with a good man who wants to be married and who wants to raise a family. He's not going to put up with that mess. My husband would divorce my ace so fast if I came home acting like this. It's just very misleading. Some relationships may be like that, but you wonder, like you say, well, why can't I find a good man? Because good men don't want that drama in their house, and they want a woman who actually cares what your opinion is or what their opinion is about how you look. My husband doesn't want purple hair one day, blonde hair the next. He doesn't want, hair down past my butt one day and then a short bob the other. That's my husband. So I have to abide by what's going on in my house. I can't just act the way the people on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And another thing, why is it that all of these shows talk about housewives? They're using the title of wives. Most of these people aren't even wives. And I really hate basketball wives, because the majority of them have never even been married to a basketball player. A lot of them just dated them. And it's just, people just look so thirsty. It's horrible. It just makes, as my grandmother used to say, it just makes you sick. That's what it does. And then back to Andy Cohen. I actually think he has a disdain for some of these women, because I remember once he asked Sheree on one of the reunion shows how she was able to afford Chateau Sheree Chateau, whatever he called it, this house that she was building that took a long time. And they were clowning her because, she just wanted the top of the line stuff that, people making 7 or 8 figures might be able to afford. But I don't think with her show's salary that she could afford it. And Andy asked her, how was she affording it? And I wanted to say, well, don't I get a salary from you? But clearly he knew how much he was paying her and that she couldn't afford that on her salary. So she winds up, trying to get a clothing line that they spent a season or more clowning, because she didn't really have the resources to get a good clothing line established. And then, like I said, I think they ply them with booze and they set the stage for buffoonery where, women are arguing, they're fighting, they're putting each other down, they're laughing at each other, and they claim that they're friends. They're really not friends, as they've proven time and time again that some of the people just knew of each other and they just put them together to make the show work. And so I think that Andy and others like him have gotten rich exploiting Black women. And I just wish that we would stop patronizing him and stop watching these shows, to send the message, and then maybe the quality of the programming would improve. And then, also he had Kenya Moore on there. Her storyline for a number of seasons was her trying to find a husband to get married so she could have kids. As fine as Kenya is, she was struggling to find someone to marry her. Then this, and I hate to call people losers, but this guy that she was having to convince almost. And then she winds up marrying this guy that treats her like dirt and winds up getting money from her. I'm happy she got a baby, and that she had a chance to tell her story about her mother and everything, and you kind of empathized with her, but it's just very embarrassing. She is too fine for what Andy Cohen had her on there doing. And then, like I said, their bad behavior and their excessive beauty trends have led, young women down a bad path. Too many BBLs, too many boob jobs, too much work done to the face, too many bad hair extensions, weaves, wigs, just whatever. They just have us doing the most just to act like them. It's not what you're supposed to wear in everyday life. Those lace fronts that they're wearing on TV under bright lights like I'm under right now, which is why I'm sweating, with my 58-year-old self. Lace fronts were not meant for you to be wearing them to the grocery store. They weren't meant for you to wear them to high school. They were meant for people on TV where they might not have been able to do your hair, but not in everyday life. And they have some of us looking ridiculous out here in these streets. And so I just wanted to, just to raise the awareness, to sound the alarm. We just need to stop. And then, if you notice, even they clown each other for bad wigs. And what's up with all the blonde hair too? And can anybody have a natural hairstyle? It doesn't seem like it. And I have to ask, can Sheree really only find a criminal? Is that the only person that a beautiful woman like herself can find, even after being on TV and people see you? Like I said, good men aren't looking for that kind of behavior. And I think it's just led them down a horrible path. And it seems to me, and I'm sorry I have so many notes, but it's just a lot that I wanted to say. These women seem to be selling their souls to the devil of sorts for income and the prospect of business or brand success. And then, like I said, those donkey booty videos that Phaedra would even say that she looks good on Dancing with the Stars, and she was actually pretty good at dancing, but it's just like this blonde wig that she's wearing, the big eyelashes. She looked really plastic. I mean, and she's an attractive, accomplished, definitely smart woman, but why, Phaedra, why? And then your husband has been in jail, and I think he's back in jail. So I think these women can do better, and like I said, they're leading a lot of our young women to get into debt, to perpetrate too like them. And I just want us to wake up and just to realize that we're not on that show. We're out here in the real world, and we really need to be thinking more consciously about how we should behave in normal relationships and our normal appearance. And then let's see, what else? Like I said, good men are seeking peaceful women to build a home, family, and future with, not caricatures of women who are so focused on emulating the women on TV and their often pretense-filled lifestyles. I just had to say it. I just really did. And then, I think that's all I had to say for my notes anyway. But it just makes me really sad when I watch this. At first, it was entertaining. But now I realize that young women are watching. And then if you look out on social media, a lot of the women are emulating this. So if you have been emulating these shows, the women on these shows, I'd encourage you to stop it and maybe, figure out the best you that you can be, and not following the women that are on these shows, and realize that these shows are just for entertainment purposes only. They're not for you to base your life on it, for you to emulate your relationships, because like I said, a lot of these women are not in good relationships. A lot of them are not married. A lot of them are involved in all sorts of tomfoolery, like even accomplished women like Wendy, who's a doctor. All of a sudden she had to get a bigger butt, and then next thing you know, the heavy makeup, the hair changes, and she's on there acting a fool the last time that I watched. And don't get me started on Married to Medicine. Heavenly could never be my dentist, and I love to go to the dentist to get my teeth clean, but Heavenly acts a complete fool, and I would never want to patronize someone like her. And she has a daughter watching that has friends, and I'm just like wondering, you have a nice income. Why is it that you need to be on television making a fool of yourself? Why do we need to know all of the intimate details of your business? Are you guys that money hungry? Well, they're adults. They can do whatever the heck they want to do. I'm just your Auntie Carolyn, and I'm trying to make sure that you don't follow them down this bad path. I don't know how it's going to work out for them, but for you, I want you to go down a normal path where you blossom and turn into the beautiful woman that you were intended to be, not a wannabe or an imitator of someone else. Look at their results. You'll know, what is it? The Bible says you'll know them by their fruit, and you'll know whether or not the actions of these women are bearing good fruit by the outcome. Like to say, I think I heard just recently that Nene is fighting a charge about a back rent thing that she owes. Women are losing houses, they're losing cars, they're being sued. There are just all sorts of things that are going on because a lot of it is pretense. Take it for entertainment. Live your best life. Keep it moving. Don't get in debt over nonsense. You don't have to prove anything to anybody but yourself. So just, look around for real life examples of success, not on these shows, based on all the reasons that I've named. So sorry I talked so long, but I just really needed to get that off my chest. I don't want you to go down a bad path, and I don't want you to base your life on things that are for entertainment purposes only. So hopefully that helps somebody, and let me know your thoughts, and talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.